Hello and welcome to Cooking with Tyler, the only show on the internet where you can get depression and learn how to cook at the same time. Our last episode on the Health Pocket was a smashing success, so to continue with the trend of health foods, today we're going to be cooking Chicken Divine. But first, we will need some preparations before making this delightful meal. First off, we will need to completely remove all communist influence within the household, for we are a 100% capitalist cook show, and we wouldn't want their hungry hands dirtying our food. Next, be sure to pray to the one and only true Lord, George Carlin, before cooking. Without this step, you may accidentally summon unwanted demons in the household, and we don't want that. Lastly, we will need to pre-cut the chicken. Why? Because I didn't do it on camera, that's why. Now, my right-hand man, Toodles, will show us the ingredients. Oh, Toodles! Get your over here. This is my compadre, Toodles. He was born in Guatemala. That's all you need to know about him. For this, we will need 1 pound of pre-cut chicken. You will need some cream of chicken. You will need some oil of any variety, but because I'm a poor sack of crap, I decided to go with butter-flavored spray. We have white rice. You will need a measuring cup with 1 cup of water, so you must have access to a running water source, which some people in some areas of the world may not have access to. You will need some broccoli and some cheese. I'll also have this up on screen right now so you can read it too for ease of access. This is not breaking the fourth wall. That's all from Toodles, guys. It's time to move into the kitchen! So for our first step, we're gonna have to take our oil or spray and spray it inside of our pan here that we have conveniently sitting here. Oh, that's really going. And stop. Hammer time. Okay, now we're going to turn the stove on. Wow, that's really going. So as this heats up, you can take your chicken and very gently like so. Take your spatula, which I also didn't say you're gonna need, so you can use your hand if you live in Guatemala like Toodles. So we're just gonna wait for that to get nice and heated, and we're going to start stirring. Once it gets heated, you can tell whenever you put your hand at the bottom and it hurts. Then we're going to start stirring until it is brown. Can you smell what the rock is cooking? It's heated. Now, once you hear that nice sizzling sound of all those toxic things we put in here, we're going to start stirring it. You're just gonna have to trust me when I'm saying I'm stirring it here, because I can't take you over here with me. That's against FDA rules. Why are you laughing at me, assistant? No, I could find another unpaid intern. I'm dead inside. See, once you start to get these fumes emitting from your pan, you're gonna want to come over to the other vent here that I also didn't mention you're gonna need.
You might not be assistant.
And you bow to turn it on high. And what, assistant?
You might not hear it.
Too bad, assistant. People don't need to hear. They just need to observe. So how was your day, assistant?
Good.
Good?
Good.
That's cool. How's life been? How are the kids doing?
You're doing great.
Doing great. And we're back for more Cooking with Tyler. Where we last left off, we are browning the chicken inside of the pot. While that's doing its thing, Tyler's gonna go off camera and conveniently edit somehow live me getting a glass of water. He has returned with water. Whoa! Through magic of editing, the broccoli has appeared! We're going to use this later. You know, my dad used to say, son, you're gonna be on a cooking show one day. And I said, Dad, no I'm not. I have no life, and I can't cook. That's whenever I learned how to cook. Top 10 chicken to swore in anime. Number 10, this one. That's why it is on my skillet right now, for it has sinned against George Carlin's will. Just thought I should let you guys know that this was not a chicken who died in vain. This chicken was executed for its sins. Now that is cooking good looking. Now what we're going to do is we're going to add the cream of chicken, the broccoli, and the water. I cut my nails. Through the use of a knife that was also not included in the steps, since I just cut my nails, we're going to have to use that to get that cream of chicken out of its metallic prison. Give it a nice little wiggle, and there it goes. It's right in there. We're gonna want to open the broccoli. That is so wet that I'm gonna need to use the knife again. That also wasn't included in the steps. Perfect. We're just gonna take our broccoli. You got it, you got it. Yeah. Yeah, boy. It's about half the bag in. Put a little more, put a little more. We're going to bring this to a boil. Make sure to keep stirring to prevent your chicken from becoming sad. Now, since I don't have access to a band anymore, I'm going to use an actual pot cover instead of a crash cymbal to cover this after it's boiling. We're going to set this off camera probably because it'll magically reappear later. We're also going to take this off of camera, which will also magically go inside of this later. Okay, now that the bubbles are starting to pop up, we're going to have to stir in our rice here, which we're going to press in and pull up in order to open. Oh, so satisfying. Now we gotta pour half a cup into the chicken. We then stir it together. Yes. Now it's time for the crash cymbal to go over it. We're going to let this sit for about 6 minutes. So in this 6 minutes, you will witness this spatula sit right here. Okay. Right there. Here's the pot. 2 minutes later. The pot now goes off of the stove. The stove is also off at this point. Make sure not to keep it on or else you may risk burning your village down. Now that it's off, you take your timer and you set it to 5 minutes and hit start. Very important step, or else it will be forever stuck at 6:05. You're screwed then. You stop time for everyone. Thanks a lot. At this step, you can also turn the vent off. Back to watching the spatula. It's done! Now, we turn off the timer, for it has ended. Going to take our lovely concoction that we have right now. Take the lid off, of course. You might not want that on there whenever doing this part. Now what we're going to do is we're going to take our nice and cold spatula and start fluffing our chicken here. Nice. Fluff. See, you get the point. Why it's called fluffing is actually it's weird how it got the name fluffing. It actually came from how it sounds similar to petting a cat. You're really just trying to put your spatula in like this and then turning it over, which sounds very much like petting a cat, which is where the name came from. By the way, nothing in this show says I can't lie to you. Ah, marvelous. Just what we need. Now, it is time for our cheese to appear onto the scene. And this part, go crazy. Go crazy, but not too crazy, or else you risk ruining your concoction. We now take the cheese and do a light sprinkle over there a few times to get it nice and cheesy, if you know what I mean. Oh, I think that's good. All of that just went onto the floor, that last little flick. I thought that was going to be a little funny thing, but it just made a mess. Now we return to fluffing our chicken. Oh. Would you look at how nice and fluffy that's getting, guys. Oh, yeah. Yeah. Nice and fluffy. Ah, you see, now that is some nice fluffed chicken. The next step is going to involve us stabbing our spatula into it like it was King Arthur's sword in the stone, and grabbing a bowl that also wasn't inside of the instructions out of the magical cupboard of secrets, and I think it's ready to serve. Kobe! Now it's time to see what my concoction of healthiness tastes like. Servant? Thank you. Here's our scrumptious dinner. Oh, would you look at that? It looks like food. Let's serve ourselves, guys. See what this truly tastes like for the grand finale. But first, an extra word from our sponsor, Sasha the cat, since she wants to interrupt so much. Go ahead, Sasha, say what you need. My assistant will now hand the pot off camera for the maximum of delight, of me eating. Oh, that's good. Now, it is missing a bit of pepper, as I would put that on myself. But, other than that, this is amazing, my gamers. Thank you, assistant. This masterpiece that I have just created here, is actually really good, in all seriousness. It actually tastes really fine. Like, yeah. I would probably rate this a probably about 4 health pockets out of 10, which is now the new rating system, by the way, as that was a very interesting episode of Cooking with Tyler. We'll just say that. Now with the pepper on it, let's see. I took a bite with no pepper on it. Let's see. For sure better. Well, that concludes this episode of Cooking with Tyler. Thank you all very much for joining me and having me not puke this time on camera. Thank you all for joining me tonight, and have a good night.